You know, if you do not mind, if you don't have any objections, I'd like to listen to some more Suzanne Vega. And what better way to start? What better way to go back than to the beginning with the first track off of her debut studio album? And that's going to be Cracking. Hopefully, it's a cracking good time. Hope you all are having a fantastic day. Yeah, like I said, I figured that we would just go back to this. We've covered a few tracks off of the album, and so I figured we might as well just stay in this particular direction, stay in this particular realm, and continue forward from where we've kind of left off. So, hope you all are having a good day. Hope you're looking forward to a little bit from Miss Vega. Let's dive on in. First track, Cracking. Here we go. Like that bass tone a lot.
It's a one-time thing. It just happens a lot. Walk with me, and we will see what we have got. My footsteps are ticking like water dripping from a tree, walking a hairline and stepping very carefully.
Always followed by those harmonies.
My heart is broken. It's worn out at the knees, hearing, muffled, seeing, blind. Soon it will hit the deep freeze.
I like a little bit of synth in the back. Kind of an icy tone.
And something is cracking. I don't know where. Ice on the sidewalk, brittle branches in the air. The sun is blinding, dizzy golden dancing green through the park in the afternoon, wondering where the hell I have been.
Just that little pickup. A small, short introduction into the album, and I think there's a few things that stand out in here. So, first of all, this is a quiet approach. This is a slow walk into the album. No drums, no major big moments of explosive, melodies coming out of nowhere and like a big drum fill to kind of lead us in somewhere. This is a softer, stepped approach. And I like how vocally Suzanne goes from speaking, poetically singing, to those little vocal harmonies there. I really like how she moves back and forth between that. So that establishes a few things off the bats, off the first step. One, she's taking a narrative focus, a more spoken word delivery, but then she can also sing a little bit. So before we get any further into the song, that's already something that's established. And then when we get to the finale there, for the last 45 seconds or so, I want to say it was, then she starts to sing in, for lack of a better word, a normal way. And it's such a beautiful revelation the way that she kind of unveils that. She kind of handles it all behind the curtain, behind the veil. And in that last 45 seconds, she pulls it away and steps into the light. And the music and the melodies become a little bit brighter as well. So it's this kind of nice light coming through the clouds kind of moments that is a great introduction. And I think a great way to kind of start off the album. The acoustic guitar, which is played by her, is also very nicely kind of happening there in the back. But the bass from Paul Dugan, from the moment the bass comes in, I'm immediately liking the tone of it. It just has this beautiful, not quite bubbly and not like too much completely like kind of fretless sound, but it moves in a similar way. There's a kind of ebb and a flow in the way that the bass plays while still maintaining a deep and nice pocket there. Then you have some ambience of electric guitar that comes in, and that's going to be courtesy of John Gordon, and eventually C.P. Roth on the synthesizers, where you hear those little icy tones begin to come in more towards the back half of the track. So this is a track that starts things off, like I said, in a very soft and subtle way, slowly and clearly moving into a progression of sorts, but definitely as a whole taking this is a soft cookie, not a crunchy cookie. Getting back to very, very soft. I love this spoken approach. It creates a nice, predictable rotation, how vocally it moves. But then at the end, while it's not an explosion, there is kind of an elevation. And the melody expands really nicely here, too. But in such a gentle kind of way, it makes me think of how you would blow into a balloon to, of course, expand it. And usually if it's like tight, like you're really trying to blow into it and get it to go. But this is like soft blowing. This is like blowing bubbles softly so that they don't pop. So the music is softly blowing up a bubble to expand it without going so far as to make it pop, and without forcing it like you're trying to blow up a toy inflatable or something like that. I'm sure that makes sense. It's a one-time thing. It just happens a lot. Isn't that a great line? Walk with me and we will see what we have got. My footsteps are ticking like time, my water dripping from a tree, walking a hairline and stepping very carefully. My heart is broken, it's worn out at the knees, hearing muffled, seeing blind. Soon it will hit the deep freeze. It's already slowing down, it's already on its last legs, so to speak. And she feels soon it'll hit that deep freeze and will forever be frozen, perhaps cold to love. And something is cracking, I don't know where. Ice on the sidewalk, brittle branches in the air. The sun is blinding, dizzy golden, dancing green. Through the park in the afternoon, wondering where the hell I have been. So in her wandering, and not only literally through the park in the afternoon, but in the wanderings of her mind, she's just kind of in her feelings, for lack of a better word, and kind of figuring herself out, perhaps romantically, in her involvement with someone else. And she says something is cracking. I don't know where. Could this be the cracking of the ice that she thinks is around her heart symbolically? She says, oh, no. Maybe it's not that. It could just be some branches above me. Could be the ice on the sidewalk as I'm walking. But I think it's something more than just those literal things. I think that there's a cracking in her heart, and in a good way, in a positive direction, a warming of the heart. Even the final lines on the track here, we go from cold, reflective, and kind of sad to the sun is blinding, dizzy golden, dancing green. Those are positive, summery, for lack of a better word, warm words. So I think that there's a warming that's happening in her heart in this particular case. You let me know what you thought, of course, in the comments down below. I hope that you enjoyed the track. As always, I appreciate you stopping on in and hopefully having a nice day out there. Have a fantastic one, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.